Ladies and gentlemen, all the hip hop heads worldwide, tengo el honor de presentar al único, inconfundible, the one and only EllMatic, yo.
Welcome to Fan Talk, everything about Hertha BSC. I'm your host Selecta. Today we're gonna break down the 20th game day in the Bundesliga, Hertha BSC at home versus the visitors Gelsenkirchen. Before we start talking about the game, oh my god, there have been a lot of things. It was the end of the transfer window, and if you guys remember, at the press conference, Coach Nuri was there and not Klinsmann. So they said Klinsmann was busy finalizing some transfers, and that he did. So let's get an overall view of everybody that was brought in, that left, and that was loaned out, because there were quite some movements on our squad. The first person we got in was Santiago Ascachiba for around 12 million. Then Lucas Toussaint for 24 million. However, he was directly loaned back to Olympique Marseille to finish out the season there. It's a weird deal. You buy a player and you immediately loan him back, but we probably had to do this in order to secure him for the summer next season, or for beginning of next season. I think what Klinsmann and Pretz were thinking here was that if we have this shot to get him now, we should just go ahead and get him instead of waiting until the summer and then maybe other clubs stepping to him with some bigger offers. So they went ahead, closed the deal, and I'm completely fine because we still have Skjelbred, we still have Grujic that are probably not going to be there next season to currently fill that void. So we're good. Also, they brought on Christoph Piatek from AC Milan for a whopping 27 million. Sometimes when we as Hertha fans hear these amount of money being thrown around, I get dizzy. Because before this transfer window, before we got Santiago Ascachiba, our biggest signing was who? Schalke for 7 million? And suddenly we're throwing around 12, 24 and 27 million. And an additional 18 million from Matthäus Cunha from Leipzig. So we spent an unbelievable 80 million euros, give or take. You know, the real numbers are never really made available, so we can only speculate and listen to what the media tell us. But 80 million for Hertha BSC. Hertha has clearly entered new dimensions. In case you are wondering whether or not these were good movements or it made sense to bring in these people, I would really suggest that you listen to the press conference before the upcoming match, Hertha away at Gelsenkirchen for the Deutsche Pokal. He breaks it down in English as well, because Christoph Piatek was brought into the press conference, and they started asking him some questions in English, and then also Jürgen Klinsmann. And did he break it down? Ladies and gentlemen, I have full confidence in Jürgen Klinsmann and these 4 players that he brought on. I am on board. He got me really excited. And if everything that he said becomes true and is fruitful, we ain't have nothing to worry about anytime soon, guys. But let's stay on topic here. We also sold 3 players. Sidney Friede was sold to Wien Wiesbaden. I think it's a 3rd or 4th league team. Florian Krebs left us, as well as Maximilian Pronichev. The last 2 were kind of academy players that we were hoping we could integrate into our main squad, which never really quite happened. So they're now in the 3rd, 4th leagues teams. We also needed to trim some of the fat from our squad, so we loaned out Edward Löwen, Maurice Kovic, Andre Duda, Denis Jastrzębski, Daishan Redan, and Davy Selke. It was a clear move that we had to do something with Selke, now that we're bringing in more attackers and that he had lost his spot to Dodi Lukebakio anyways. So we loaned them out to Bremen with the buy clause that should they be still in the Bundesliga in 2021, they will buy him for a whopping 15 million. Which I think is a great deal for us, taking into consideration that we bought him for 7.5. So I think that this is a good deal for everybody. So Let's move on to the first half. We came out in a 4-2-3-1. Lukebakio up top. Behind him is the attacking midfielder again, Grujic, which I liked. Dilrosun on the left, Wolf on the right. Behind him, Askachiba and Shelbred. Behind them in the chain of four, we had Mittelstädt, Tonariga, Boyota and Klünter. Now this seems as a little bit more defensive option. However, we're going up against Gelsenkirchen and they are 6th place in the table, so it was a logical solution. Yes, we want to win this game, but we are definitely not trying to lose this game. So a possible draw was always on the books coming out with a formation like this. So the first and second half were both basically played box to box. It was all midfield. In the first half, they basically tried to exploit our defense by getting behind us, either with long balls or with some cheeky chips over the top. However, we were defensively sound. Tonariga, Boyota, Mittelstädt and Klünter basically did their job, especially our two center backs. They had great positioning, they used their bodies well. It was very good defensively. We, however, tried a variety of attacks. We played through the middle, we tried to cross the ball in. Unfortunately, our crosses are still a little bit poor, and I hope that coach really addresses this, because the situation that we're in, we really need to rely on a lot of crosses. We also had a couple corners this game. I don't know if they were in first half or second half mainly, but they were better than before. So I'm really happy that there were improvements on the corners. I remember there was one corner that came in that Boyata actually got his head to. It went a little bit wide, but I feel given to our post corners in other games, this was a clear improvement. Our defense was nice and compact. Oftentimes when they were in position, one of the wingers, either Dilrosun or Wolf, would come back and we would have 5 across the back, which made it very hard for Gelsenkirchen to actually try to find a way in there and exploit us. There were a few chances, there were no 100%. I also want to point out that there were a lot of blocked shots. We really did well blocking shots. In the past couple of games, they would take shots and they would still kind of find their way through. I think in this game, we were excellent with positioning ourselves in front of the person taking the shot, blocking them away, and thus taking a little bit of the load from Jahrstein. One of the little negative highlights that I would take away from the first half, and it also drug on a little bit into the second half, was there were a couple of fouls, especially on Lukebakio, that I felt was hard and they were not even called. I don't know what exactly is going on there, but me and some other people, we have been thinking and wondering, and feel free to comment about this below the video, but is there maybe a little bit of racism on the side of the refs? Okay, Ibisevic also doesn't get a lot of calls, but that's given his history that he has with the referees, with all the cards that he used to get and the way how he used to talk to them, the stuff that he used to do. So that is somewhat, you can say, okay. But when you have a Lukebakio and a Dilrosun and you blatantly see on TV that people are pulling their jerseys, putting their hands on their shoulders, pushing them back to try to get in front of them, I feel like these guys deserve a couple more calls, and that these guys, I mean, it looks like they're being manhandled a little bit, and I don't think it's fair. So the question comes up, is there maybe some little bit of racism or bias from the refs towards, I might just say, our black players, or maybe even towards them in the whole league? I don't watch enough Bundesliga to really say if there is a case in the whole Bundesliga. I just see that Hertha, and especially now Lukebakio and Dilrosun, I'm not getting some calls that I feel like they deserve. Alright, we move on to the second half. Again, not a lot of highlights. Again, box to box. Again, very defensive on both sides almost. It was not like Gelsenkirchen came in there and opened up and was like mainly in possession and mainly making the game. Yeah. In the 51st minute, again, there is Kabak grabs Dilrosun's jersey and pulls him down. And I just feel like there should have been a foul. I just said it. It's a little bit weird. So to me, I feel like the referee should have been issued a yellow card to some of these Schalke defenders. To me, I feel like the referee should have been issued some yellow cards for some Gelsenkirchen players, especially their defenders, Kabak and Mascarell, or what his name is. I felt like they were playing hard, yes, but sometimes it was just over the top and they just needed to be slowed down. And it took, I think, until the 70th minute for him to pull a card. To me, a little bit too late. Then, in the 63rd minute, the moment we've all been waiting for, subs. And I want to point out the genius of Jürgen Klinsmann. He subs on Piatek for Wolf and Meyer for Grujic in one swift motion. This shows how smart Klinsmann is. Remember that we discussed that there were some issues with Meyer and Stark, and there were some rumors in the media about them wanting to force a transfer? Well, how do you protect your player from the fans and, prevent him getting booed or anything like that? You bring him on with the newly signed striking star, our number 7, Piatek, and of course the whole stadium is just cheering and the atmosphere is just exploding. Everybody's clapping. It was great, and I think it was a good move from coach to protect Meyer and to also keep his morale up. From there on out, the only highlight really was Piatek, his first contact with the ball. He steals the ball from the defender. I like this guy. I really do like this guy. I watched a couple highlights of him when he was at Genoa and at AC Milan, and what stands out to me is that he has amazing anticipation. He makes that move. A couple of years back, I said this, that I wonder why these players are not just speculating on a certain pass and a certain ball being played. This guy embodies that. He speculates, he anticipates, and he's just strong with the left foot, strong with the right foot, strong in the air. Wow, I think we have great things coming. The numbers after the game really spoke for him too. I think he had 10 contacts with the ball and 3 shots on goal. For half an hour, given the situation and the defensive game we were in, that is amazing. I'm very excited. Also, if you're planning on getting his jersey, I would just wait till the end of the season because his favorite number is number 9, currently held by Eswein. I believe that beginning of next season, Eswein is probably on his way out, and that the number 9 is going to free up, and then he's going to have the number 9 that he's then going to wear probably moving forward for his career at Hertha. Let's look at the game stats. So that we had 9 shots on goal, they had 13, which I think is pretty good. And ladies and gentlemen, we outran them by almost a full kilometer. We had 114.6 kilometers versus their 113.8, and that is exactly what I want to see. Good job, team. However, something that we got a little bit worse in was the passing. We only had 66% successful passes versus they had the Bundesliga average that I always say at around 80. They had 81%. This is something we need to get better in. Okay, they had a little bit more of the ball. They had 58%. We only had 42. However, we were biting more. We won 51% of tackles, which is pretty good. Corners, we had 3. Yeah, okay, given that we only had 9 shots, it's alright. They had 7. The good thing is we defended them away. And yeah, they played about, 520 passes. We played 360. That's half. So yeah, it's I don't know how to really interpret this passing situation, because I think what it comes down to is that we did a lot more runs. So given the amount of passes isn't really a good fact here, but I think we ran a lot more. We did a little bit more one-on-one with Dilrosun and Luke Bacchio, so it's okay. But I need this team to get better with the successful passing. 66% is just way below par, man. It's just, this is what we need to get better in. But hey, there's always another game to do that, right? Now, to overall sum up the game, it was a very tactical game. I think it was a defensive masterclass from co-trainer Nuri, and I'm calling him and not Klinsmann because Klinsmann wants to play more offensive, and I think that Nuri is the guy in charge of the defensive schemes that we're running. Was very defensive. Both teams basically neutralized each other, and given that they're in the 6th place and we are on 13th place, that's a good result. So, 0-0, it's okay, we take it. We also didn't show too many things that maybe Gelsenkirchen can build up on for the upcoming cup match. So I think we did really well there. They might have had more shots on goal than us, but it felt like we had the more threatening ones. I mean, in the 94th minute, right before the ref blew off the game, Maxi Mittelstadt had a nice shot on goal that might as well, if he curved a little bit more to the left, could have been the game winner. So I think we did really well, and I think we kept our own, and we look good. Our counters have looked a lot better. Yes, they didn't lose the ball as much in positions where we were able to move forward, but the couple of times that we did, we actually ended up taking a shot, whether it went wide or it was blocked. Doesn't matter so much. What I think is the major takeaway and improvement here is that we did not end our counters with a wayward pass, which are really frustrating. At least now we're taking the shots. That's good. We can build up on that and, give it another game, maybe in the cup tie, and we're scoring and putting these on target or stretching the keeper or something. Schalke, like I said earlier, deserved a yellow card much earlier, I think. It wouldn't have changed the price of rice or the dynamics of the game. I just felt like the officiating was a little lenient, a little bit too lenient for my taste. But the 0-0 is okay. It helps us in our quest to get away from relegation and to make a little peek at Europe maybe. But anyways, this is totally okay. I think it was a good match given that we're about to see them again. And overall, I'm not necessarily happy, but I feel content and I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, from Atlanta, Georgia, ha ho he, Hertha BSC.